Good morning. Today, Friday, November 14th. Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Pashas Chayesara. So just a quick summary where we're holding. Okay, so we had Melech Yisrael and Melech Yehuda, and they decided to go up to war. And they go up to war against who? Against, we said yesterday, against the people of Gilad, or Mat Gilad, which is the people essentially of Hadad, right? And then the whole question it was yesterday if they should go to war or not. And the fake Nevi'im said, yeah, go, you're going to win. And then the real Navi said, no, don't go so fast, you're going to lose. L'maisa, what happens is they decide to go to war. And Pasuk Chavtes, we're middle of the Perek. Today is part B of the last Perek, Perek Chavtes. And then let's get started. So Pasuk Chavtes. But Yal,
the people who are saying to go,
right. Yeah, I'm not going through every detail, but yeah, hold on. So two questions. So Avishna wants to know why do you pick Yehoshafat to go together with Malachim, the chariot Shmer? I'll tell you why it's even more sure. I'll tell you why he went. The reason why he went, the partial reason why he went, is because the Navi said only one person is going to die, Achav, and therefore he knew he's safe. Not only did he go, he went. We'll see in this minute. He went wearing the bigger machas. He wasn't afraid. Now, another reason why you can say he went, which is it's shver, but I'll tell you why. He went because we had earlier in the psukim that Melech Yehuda made a pact with Hadad, Melech Aram. So since he had a pact, so there was agreement. There was a peace agreement. So because of that, maybe he wasn't afraid. Now, why did he go? So I saw the Alshach says a pshat. He says he was in good terms, right? They were relative to someone. He didn't want to be scared, and he knew he's to be safe. So all the reasons together, he decided to go to war. Now, who was this? Okay, so I'll point out what Rabbi Biederman just pointed out. Who were the Nevi'ah Sheker? It was the spirit of Nava is taking revenge on. Was taking revenge on Achav. Okay. So now let's go. Pasuk Chavtes. V'yal Melech Yehuda Yehoshafat V'yal Melech Yisrael Yehoshafat Melech Yehuda Ramat Gilad. So Melech Yisrael Melech Yehuda they go up to war in Ramat Gilad. Pasuk Lamed. V'yomer Melech Yisrael Yehoshafat. So now the Melech Yisrael tells Yehoshafat. He tells him Eschapesh b'vay Malchama. I'm going to disguise myself when I go into war. V'ata levash b'gdecha. But you can wear the regular royal big name malchus. Eschapesh Melech Yisrael v'yam Malchama. So that's what happens. Now again, what was the reason why he wanted to disguise himself? He wanted to make sure he's safe. He wanted to make sure that the Navi is going to be wrong, and he wanted to make sure he's going to be safe, and he's not going to die because he has to prove himself right. But on the other hand, Melech Yehuda, who just said, I'm safe, I'm good. Yehoshafat with no problem. He walked around with the big day malchus. Pasuk Lamed Aleph. Or Melech Aram, Siva, and Melech Aram, which chariot it's Ben Hadad. It's interesting. The pasuk nowhere does it mention Ben Hadad. Chariot is Melech Hadad, and he gave a commandment. El Sari Recha Shalosh Shleishim Shnayim. There's 32 commanders, and he said, Loi tilachmu esakatam vesagadol. We have a war now. Don't go ahead and do battle with the little people, the big people. Don't do that. Focus Focus on one person, on Achav. Only focus on Achav. Everyone else it's irrelevant. To the point, if you see even Melech Yehuda, don't touch. Only touch Achav. What happens? And now what happened? The war starts, and suddenly they see the king. So they say, "Oh, he must be. Let's kill him." But really, who was the king? It was Yehoshafat. What happens? They said, "Oh, Ach Melech Yisrael. This must be Melech Yisrael. So let's go kill him. We got him." They they turned upon him to capture him. And what happened? He gave a big scream to Hashem. It's like Rashi L'Kadosh Baruch Hu. He screams out, "No, Hashem!" He screamed out to them. Well, he's giving a big scream. So they think he's screaming because it's not him, but really he screamed to Hashem. He's David Hashem. And what? He shouldn't be killed. The Medrash brings down that they had the sword on his neck. They're ready to kill him, and then Pasuk Lamed comes. When they realize they let him go. Again, even though it's so interesting, even though he's going to war, and he's a melech, but the Maisa, the nevuah was that only Achav got killed, and the order was only to kill Achav, and therefore they let him go, and he was fine. Now, Pasuk Lamed the ish mashach bekeshes latumay. There was a man very innocently. He was playing with his bow and his arrow, and he was playing around with it. He wasn't trying to aim at him; he was just playing, right? And when this person, he goes ahead and just miraculously goes ahead and just so randomly, right? That's what they all thought. And he happens to hit Melech Yisrael. He hits Achav and Ben Advakim in between the plates of armor, because he was wearing armor because he didn't want to die, because he knew he's in the war, right? So he wore this armor. He aimlessly just gets into his shield and in between the plates of the armor. And what happens is, he tells his rider, he's telling him, it says, quickly turn around, take me back. Why? I'm not feeling well. Just take me back. He was embarrassed that he got hit. Who was this person? Rashi says it was Naaman. Who was Naaman? We're going to have later that that he had to ras, and Elisha will heal him. Well, it's later on. We'll have it, but it's not Stam Ish. It happens to be a very significant individual, which we'll have later. Anyway,
died from the bow and arrow.
We'll see in a second. Very good. Puzzle Lamed Hey. So now Achav is sitting there and he's bleeding to death, and he's embarrassed. What does he do? That day, the war was very, very intense battle. But the king is standing up in his chariot. He's bleeding. He's facing Aram, and on a way of like showing, he's the leader. He's the warrior. But the meantime, he's bleeding to death. What does he do? Be'erev, he dies in the evening. Achav finally dies. And the blood of the Makeh that he was dying went into the chariot. It was loaded in blood. He was just standing there and draining his blood. But he was a warrior because he was standing there facing the people and marching them on at the same time. But as soon as the people realized that Achav died, there was a rina in the Machane, and like when the sun was going down, and they were saying, everyone go back to your city. Go back to your land. The war's over. The king died. Everyone just go home. Everyone go home. What's lashon rina? Usually rina is a lashon of happiness. So sometimes you could have lashon of rina. It means like a loud noise. There was a outcry in the city. The Gemara, famous Gemara in Hedger, that says that when a tzaddik dies, the Gemara says din goes to the world, and then the Gemara says when Rasha dies, rina. What's rina? It means that in the bria there's going to be an eternal happiness. It's good to the world. So that's the lashon of when Achav died. The pasuk says it was lashon of rina. Okay. Puzzle Amazayin. So now Achav dies, and he was brought to the Shamron. And he's buried in the Shamron. So if you think about it, actually let's go a little further and we'll go shot on this. So now pasuk Lamachas Vayishtav has a rechev. They washed out the rechev that was full of blood. Al Bachais HaShamron, on the pools of the Shamron. Vayilaku HaKalovim as Damai. And now the dogs licked up the blood, like the nevuah was that Dam Novis, the place where the Dam Novis died. That's the place where the blood of Achaz is going to be licked up. And then it says V'hazoynes Ratzchu, and the weapons. We'll see a few shots on this. We'll get to in a second. And the weapons were washed out. Kedvar Hashem, like Hashem spoke. So a couple of points here. First point is, the pasuk says that he died in the Shamron and he was buried in the Shamron. So it seems like the story of the dogs that happened in the Shamron, right? The problem is that earlier we had was in Yezreel. So what's going on there? So Rashi says, oh, very good. That's a fair Torah guy. Okay. So Rashi and their dad. So Rashi says, actually the Torah guy could be, I'll tell you, when he said the water, give me a second. So one shot we have Rashi. Rashi says, I say, Shasham Nerag Noves. Noves must have died in the Shamron. So Rashi sees clearly that Noves died in the Shamron, and the story of the blood being licked up was in the Shamron. Okay. The Radak says no. Noves died in Yasriel, like the pasuk seems to imply. So it's a chariot shver. So why is the blood being licked up in Shamron? Shver. So Rashi, so he says like this. So Radak brings down that the Shamron is not too far from Yasriel, and there's a river over there, like the tour guide showed us, right? So he says that the water washed the blood of Achav from the Shamron to Yasriel, and there the dogs came and licked at the blood. Wow. So it's a Chali Rashi and the Radak how to learn it up. Okay, now. Well, he's washing the water, so maybe that's what he meant. We have to medayik the tour guide. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to point out is, it says here, the hazoynes ratzchu, and they washed up the weapons from the blood. It seems to say, okay. Now, what does that mean? So, that was one shot. Rashi has a second shot. Rashi says, Amru, that it doesn't mean weapons, it means zaynas. What's zaynas? So Achav had in his chariot pictures of Zionists. Why? Because Achav, I was saying to Amr, Achav Mitzunan, he was a cold person. He had trouble down there. So what did he do? He had pictures on the chariot to get him excited. So when they washed up the chariots from all the blood, there was pictures of the Zionists were washed out too. That's what Rashi learned. Let's bring it down for Chazal from the Targum Yonasan. There's another shot that it means like this. It means that that his blood was in the water, and the Zionists who used to bathe in the water, they washed themselves with the blood of Achav in the water because it was so much blood, it was just being washed down the stream. I mean, that could go with the other shot as well, that it went up to Yasriel, so maybe it's in the water. It's keep I don't know. Anyways, very interesting shatim and pasuk lamitas. Okay. But yesterday, if you want to hear about Achav, Chasha Asa ben Hashem. This that he did, he used to have this ivory palace, Ashabana, Bechol Arim, Ashabana, all the cities that Achav built, Halayim Ksuvim, I'll say for Divrei Yamim Machisol. So, Ayin Shom in Divrei Yamim, we said like earlier, it doesn't mean Divrei Yamim like we have today, because that wasn't written until the times of Ezra. So, that's some sort of sefer, and that's where you get the history. Now, V'yishka, Pasuk Mem, Achav B'vaisav, Achav was buried with his father, V'yimlech Achaziah ben Noit Achav. Achaziah, he was the new Melech on Yisrael. Now it's going to be Yehoshafat ben Yehuda. Yehoshafat, who was from Yehuda, he ruled of Yehuda b'shnas arba on the 4th year. It talked about Yehoshafat in the stories, but now it's just saying, giving the real history. He was on the b'shnas arba on the 4th year of Achav, of King Israel. So he was in Yehuda, and that's Israel. Yehoshafat ben Shloshim Chamei Shana. Yehoshafat was 35 years old, Malachim when he became Melech, and V'esim Chamei Shana Malach Yishalayim. And he was 25 years in Yishalayim. And he was a good melech, right? We know that. And Vashem Iboy, Azuva Bas Shlichi, and his mother's name was Azuva Bas Shlichi. Ayelech b'chol derachav, v'yelech b'chol derech, Asa Aviv. And Yehoshafat followed after Asa, which we know the Lois Menu, and he didn't turn away from Hashem because he was a good melech. Lot says Yosh Amin Hashem. He didn't turn away like other people did, like Melech Yisrael did. He followed after Asa, his father. And he did, and Hashem, and he was a good melech in the eyes of Hashem. But Bamais Leisaru, Bamais were not removed in that time. So in the time Yehoshafat, they had Bamais. Now the Chariot Bamais are Aser because the Beis Mikdash was around. So we know the reason is because he didn't take away the Bamais. We said earlier because Klaisel wasn't at the Madrega that they could take everything. Sometimes you got to give a little bit. So they did wrong in order that they shouldn't go to Avodah Zarah. So we gave them Bamas, so they should at least do that. If you take away the Bamas, next thing you know, they're going to the Baal. So we went ahead and we left those good Bamas, and okay. Sometimes in life, you can't take away everything at once. Just if you have a minute, I'll tell you an interesting story. I heard from Verizon once said a story. Said Tyra Das, there was a boy, Tyra Das, who was a Jet boy. In those days, before Ura came around, there was something called Jet. Jet was the original Kiruv program. Anyway, so it was a boy in Tarvidas, and he was learning in yeshiva. But the Maisa, every night he used to come home and he used to, his parents weren't religious, and he used to eat treif. So in the morning he's learning Gemara, Rashi, Taisha, Ksais, and now he's eating treifas. So Pam, it's advised me. So when you go to Moshe, ask Moshe what to do with this boy. The Maisa, he's Tam Chach. On the other hand, he's comes home and his mother makes him supper. She makes him matzah v'challah. She makes him treif. Like, what do you do? So he goes for Friday afternoon to Moshe. He told me, yes, Moshe, make sure Moshe is very settled. Make sure, I want a clear answer. And what happens? So Rabbi told me that Moshe told him, the only time you have to keep the whole Torah one time is by a ger. A ger is 1 second you're going, now you're yid. But when it comes to stam and halacha, if you're not holding by it, you do a little at a time. That's kind of what happened over here. Klaisel wasn't at the Madrega to be able to take everything at once. So listen, we had the Beis Mikdash, but they also had Bamas. Because they knew if you didn't have Bamas, they'll do it by the Zara too. Okay, weiter. Pasuk Mem. Vayashlev Yehoshafat in Yisrael. Yehoshafat, he made peace in Yisrael, because we know there was always some sort of sichsich between the two, Nach Yehuda and Yisrael. So he's just saying he was the peacemaker. Where do we have those fighting? We know Asa and Basha were fighting. So now it's saying when Yehoshafat came, he made peace in Klal Yisrael. Pasuk Mem. Hey, Yesterday Yehoshafat v'Grasa Asa. If you want to hear more about the story, Shal Nocham. Hey, Maksuvim. I'll say for the Yom Machis. If you go to the Yom, you can hear more about it. Zion, V'Yeser, Hakadosh, Asher, the Nisha, and the May Asa of it. Now there were prostitution that was left around the time of Asa. Bira Menaretz. Yehoshafat came in and he cleaned up the shop, and he got rid of everything else. So he got rid of all the bad. Okay, he did more than his father. His father Asa did some of it, but he finished it off. Memches or Melech ein be'Edom nitzav Melech. It just says that in that time there was such peace in the world. There was no Melech. There was no actual king in Edom, and nitzav Melech. There was only rule to the governor was the king. The governor of Edom, was the king.
It says a commissioner from Yehuda.
Right, commissioner means as opposed to the Melech.
But from Yehuda.
Even more. Okay,
They control the world.
Right, you're saying even more. We know times of Shalom Melech. We know in general he ruled over the whole world. Now it's not Shalom Melech, but now later on there's still some sort of control. So as Yaakov was pointing out, that even Yehuda ruled over that. Okay. Yehoshafat also Aniyos Tarshish. Very interesting thing. Yehoshafat, he made ships of Tarshish. That just means it was like certain design. We have like certain kind of decor. So that he made ships of the Tarshish decor. The Lechas Afira Lazav. And he wanted to go with these ships on an expedition. Like we know Shlomo Melech also went on an expedition, and where Shlomo Melech also went to Afira to get gold. That was the place that I think this is where Belsky said it's referring to Peru, I think it is. And he wanted to go as well, like Shlomo did. He wanted to go to Afira to get gold, but he didn't go. Why? Because the ships he made broke down in that area of Atzengover. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is all the way down, way down on the map. I believe we had earlier. I think it's down here somewhere, and that's where the voyage took place. Now, why did he do this? I think Rashi brings it down that what happened was he wanted Hashem made a break because Hashem didn't want to join a deal with Russia. I believe Yehoshafat wanted to do it with I think he wanted. Let's see, Rashi a second. Ahaziah. Okay, Ahaziah. Right. So he wanted to do it. Melech Yehuda wanted to go on a voyage together with Ahaziah and with Russia, and therefore Hashem made it that the ship's broke and he didn't go. Now, Oz Amar Ahaziah ben Achav Yehoshafat Yelchu Avdi Avdacha. He said no. He said let's now that we fixed the ships, let's go. But still, he didn't want to go because what? I think Hashem wanted he shouldn't go because it's going to Russia and Lamaisa. It's interesting. It's being out the ship's broke and you have to go. It just anyway. Vayishka Yehoshafat and Vaisav was I guess it was a big story those days, and this was the big headlines. Let's tell you what happened. Vayishka Yehoshafat and Vaisav, and Yehoshafat dies and he's buried. Yikva Vaisav Yer David Aviv Vayimlach Yeharim Benoi Tachlaf. And now Yeharim takes over. Now Ahaziah ben Achav Malach Yisrael b'Shamron. Ahaziah, the son of Achav, he's ruled in the Shamron. Okay, Mishnas Sheva Esrei in the 17th year of the Shaf Yehuda, and he ruled for 2 years. Okay, we'll see more about him in Malachim Beis. But Yas HaRabbi Hashem, he was not a good king. In those 2 years he didn't do well. He fell after his father, B'derach Iroi, his mother. Who's his mother? Izabel, right? B'derach Iravim Benvat. The is a guy. His mother. Okay, interesting. Who says that?
I'm asking you.
I don't know, very interesting. And what? He delivers for Klal Yisrael. But Yahweh as a Baal, and not only, once again, he's doing that by deserve. He's doing the Baal, and he bows down to the Baal, says Hashem, and okay, Yisrael, and once again, he follows after his father. So Melech Yehuda is in a decent track, but Melech Yisrael, every single king of Yisrael, pretty much, is going bad. It all started by Rabbi Nevat. And now, once again, the anger of Hashem, and we see the next Perek in Malachim Beis on Monday morning, what happens to him. Okay? Good Shabbos.